So yeah, what's up? I have an announcement. It's actually not an announcement, but I figure that's a good way to capture your attention by saying something like that. Okay, I was thinking about this shit yesterday. I've been thinking about it for a long time. It's been like just brewing up in my mind, like this realization. But I went ahead and just spilled it all out yesterday. But it's really a long, vague thing. I think I can say it more succinctly and directly. Look, the humans are just trained animals. That is all they are. They are no different than a dog that's trained to do a specific task. You got police dogs, you got show dogs, you got like athletic dogs. Humans are no different. We're just animals with our specific little tasks. And we can train ourselves to like do stuff, but even the incentive to train ourselves to do things, comes from kind of a social pressure. So really, and then that goes into culture and whatever, you can see some crazy shit in the world. Like, one example I always use those girls that like put those rings on their neck to make their freaking necks long. So I look at that shit, I'm like, what the fuck is that? Like, why would you do that? But that's like a cool thing in that part of the world, And if you don't do that, you're probably not considered as sexy as the next, And so there's all these incentive systems in our society. Basically, I don't know what you want to call them. You call it culture. But a culture is basically like a value system. And, if you kind of don't subscribe, you have no like social status. So it all comes down to like social status. What's up, dog? And everybody kind of wants to have a high social status because it affects their quality of life. If you have a high social status, you get more women, or if you, or as a woman, you get more like better looking guys or whatever. So yeah, we're kind of just like monkeys, and we all have. I guess you kind of say we've trained ourselves, but also we've kind of been trained by the social pressure. Like a dog. You heard that dog? Like I was just talking about dogs. If you train an animal, like if the dog pees on the floor inside, you spank him, he learns. It's like, did he train himself? He's like, look, in his head he might think he trained himself. He's like, yeah, I'm not gonna pee on the floor again because that's a bad idea. He thinks he trained himself, but really, like, externally, you trained the dog. And it's very similar. Like, humans kind of think they're training themselves, think they got their own ideas of what to do. Bro, we're all being like conditioned by external factors, like so much. You could even go like all the way to like all types of biology. I mean, that's like basically what learning is. It's like you learn that's a bad idea. Don't touch the hot iron on the stove. Don't do this, it's okay if you do that. If you do this, you get a reward. It's all conditioning, go into psychology and stuff. But you can look at almost all of biology like that. It's like just all learning. It's all basically conditioning, but it's almost like being trained by your environment. And the thing is, like, it's not consistent. Sometimes you might not get hurt if you put your hand on a stove. Sometimes you might, and like you have to figure out specifically what the difference is. Like, is the stove on? Is it off? And even like with cultures change. So you think you're doing something good that's gonna get you praise today, next week it's like it's out of style, whatever it might be. It's always stuff like that happening. And it's kind of just our way of adapting to change. It's adapting to the world around us. Our way to navigate life. We learn like that there's bad consequences for this, positive ones for this. It's just like a dog being trained. You get spanked, you pee on the floor. You don't if you pee outside. Like, okay, you learn. And if that changes, then you're like, all right, I guess I'm gonna have to pee on the floor now. That's all it is. It's all training. Every single human being is like conditioned by their environment, straight up. And that goes back into nature versus nurture. But I see it like people are like literally like trained, especially if you understand society, culture, and how that culture is kind of manipulated. And there's people that understand this. They understand like this like kind of how to manipulate society on like a wholesale level. There's popular culture that's promoted to us. There's people who literally get paid to convince us to buy things or to do things. It's like, hey, you're not cool if you don't buy this product, you know. If you don't do this, do that, you know. People get it's literally their job to manipulate society into doing certain things. And they understand this very well. They understand. So people, in large part, especially with society, culture, they're freaking trained. They're trained. There are masters who know how to manipulate these things, these cultures and stuff. And people are trained. And here's what's funny. If you create a culture, even if you're like the one who created it, and you call yourself the master who freaking convinced everybody to act a certain way, whatever. If you're a human and you want to be like appreciated in that society with that culture, then you're probably gonna have to subscribe to that same culture just to be appreciated by your fellow human. Because I mean, I've actually seen that. Like I've seen people who are clearly like the manipulators, then later on like subscribe to the same culture that they manipulated people into, you know, kind of taking to, you know. I've seen that, and I'm like, wow, like it seems dumb, but I mean, even the manipulators are kind of subjected to certain social pressures and shit like that. You know, it's just literally like living and thinking is like what people do. Not just people, but like anything, any intelligent organism, basically. It could be like a microbe. It'll learn, oh, that's dangerous, go this way. Like, if there's any type of memory and learning factor involved, yeah, there's probably, it's almost like training. It's basically what it is. And that's all humans are. We're just these animals that are basically trained. That's all we are, dude. Like, we got cultures, we got whatever. You're told stories, you're told, hey, if you do like, you know, all these ideas that are put in your head one way or another, whether it's your personal experience, stories told, or whatever it might be, physical pain, pleasure. We're told history. We could be being told lies. There could be lies everywhere that's manipulating us, you know. There's fear, you know. Maybe it's not even it's just lies and fear, you know. It's all training. Everybody's being trained. They're being manipulated. And I could see it. I could look at people and I see like you got like all these ideas in your head from wherever they came, and you're acting based upon all those ideas. That's your training. You know what I mean? And sometimes it takes a smart person to be able to see through maybe an illusion, or like I said, like fear, stuff like that, and be able to like break that type of training, like almost rebel against the conditioning. There's other times there's people that are kind of stupid that haven't learned a lesson, and you're like, hold on, like don't do that, like. And sometimes those people might learn the hard way. Sometimes, you know, people don't learn lesson and bad stuff happens, you know. But generally speaking, the whole point is like, yeah, people are just these organisms. So is every other type of life, really, that's intelligent. Look at these little butterflies, man. Butterflies. Every other type of life. Sorry, I got distracted. Every other type of life that's intelligent, you know, they're all like conditioned. That's a psychological term for it, but I'll be like, dude, no, they're like trained by, I guess it's the same thing, but it's like training. Humans are like trained. They're like these obedient animals who subscribe to culture because they don't want to be ridiculed by their peers, because they want to be liked by their peers. So they do this, do that, don't do this. I mean, it's fucking people. You can see it. You can see it. You can see it. You can see it. You can look at people and say, you're trained. That's why you're acting exactly how you are. I can see it. And it's the same for me. Why I do certain things I do. I'm like, I don't want to do that because I already have in my brain that it's going to lead to pain or it's dangerous or something. I do want to do this because whatever. I mean, it's flexible. It's especially if you're aware of the concept. But generally speaking, I could look at a lot of people and I see that I was on a bus yesterday. That's why I started thinking about it so hard, because I was looking at people. It's people watching. I'm like, you can see it. They're all trained. I was like, I saw this one girl and she was kind of cute, but I could tell she was like messed up in the head a little bit. I'm like, you know, like, I was like, this is a nice girl, but I just, like, I basically said to myself, like, she would be a lot better if she was, like, trained different. Like, I didn't, like, say it like that, but kind of, like, well, I was already thinking on this route with, like, humans, and I don't know, it's whatever, but, yeah, man, I was just people watching yesterday, and I was like, and it was actually that one girl that kind of sparked it. I was like, it's kind of a cute girl, but I could tell she was all just, like, scared and, like, weirded out. I'm like, it's like, it's sad because she could be a lot better. I knew that. I was actually thinking, like she's all scared, but I know, like, I don't know. I don't even want to get into it, but yeah, that one girl actually sparked that. And that led to a whole different, that whole spiel that I did yesterday, and now it led to this, which is a kind of condensed version of the same thing. So there you go. I got to do what I got to do. I'm about to got a guitar. I don't think I'm gonna play that right now. I think I'm actually gonna talk about some Bible stuff, guys. Bible, religion, that's another thing. They say, oh, if you dare do this, you're going to hell. You're like, okay, I'm not doing that. Boy, it's mind control. It's training, dude. Get it, son. Understand that. It's training. Half the time it's just big old lies, big old fear. You know what I'm saying? Don't fall for that shit. They're controlling you. Don't get control. Control yourself. See through the lies. See through the illusions, man. Be smart. Stay woke. Think about that. I'm out of here. I'm gonna set this little thing right here. Maybe sun's kind of blasting, but I might go around to the shade. I have no idea, but I'm gonna talk about some Bible stuff. I'm pretty familiar with the Bible. Okay, and you go find those videos where I talk about Bible stuff. And yeah, I'm not gonna talk about that right now. I'm out. Stay safe.